Hello, beautiful people out there. I know a lot of you will be reading my story, and I thank you in advance for taking time out for me and my son. So I'm Giselle, and the man I call my son is Evan. And to start off, let me tell you that Evan is not my biological son. He was born to my stepsister Lara, who is older than me. Don't worry, she's very much alive, but she lost her motherly rights a long time ago. Let me tell you what happened. First of all, you should know that Lara and I were stepsisters on my dad's side. He was a very doting father and treated both of us equally. I had lost my mother young while Lara's mom married my dad. We were actually a pretty good blended family and had a great life. My dad happened to be a wealthy man, so we lived comfortably as well. However, his wealth sort of ended up spoiling Lara. Lara was always an obnoxious woman and overall very entitled. My dad and her mom tried their best to change her selfish attitude, but nothing worked. She was also sort of a wild child and ended up getting pregnant out of wedlock. She also didn't know who the father was, so my nephew Evan grew up in a single-parent household. My dad and stepmother did their part as loving and caring grandparents while I was the cool aunt. However, tragedy struck when my dad and stepmother died very close to each other. My dad was the last one to go. I still remember when he told me in private. I worry about Evan, you know. Lara doesn't seem to be the best mother to him. I have noticed that, Dad. I tried talking to her, but she ignored me. You know, she never liked me as much anyway. I know, Giselle. I don't understand why Lara is this way. We tried our best to make her more responsible, but nothing worked. I don't know what she will do with Evan. Her new boyfriend is also not good news. I don't like the guy either, Dad. I've seen how he slights Evan and tries to take Lara away from him. I have the feeling he doesn't want Evan around. You were right about that. I'm afraid I just hope Lara does the right thing. Giselle, can you keep an eye on Evan? You are the only one he has now. He has been pretty lonely already, and when I pass, things will get worse. Don't worry, Dad. I'll keep an eye on Evan. I do consider him my nephew after all. Besides, he is a good kid, even though he has been neglected a lot. I meant every word I said to my dad. Evan was my nephew, and there was no way I wouldn't care for him. I think Dad died a little more peacefully knowing that I was there for him. After he passed, I resolved to drill some sense into Lara and make sure she stops treating Evan like a disposable child. But things didn't go as planned. One morning, Evan called me crying on the phone and told me to come over immediately. I was really concerned about him and raced to his house. He was sitting on the front steps and crying. I brought him inside and comforted him before asking him what was wrong. He said, Mom left Giselle. I woke up this morning and I saw that her stuff was gone. She left a note saying that she wasn't coming back. What are you talking about? Have you tried calling her? Yes, I tried to call her, but she wouldn't pick up. I quickly pulled out my cell phone and called Lara. I was still in a daze and couldn't believe that she had just abandoned her son and ran away. Although I wasn't a mother, I still knew that it was something no mother would or should do. Surprisingly, Lara picked up the call. She said, There is no use trying to get me to come back. I won't be returning, so don't bother with that nonsense. Have you gone mad, Lara? You can't just leave your son and ride off into the sunset. You are with your new lover, aren't you? Oh, yes, my new lover has actually proposed and we got engaged yesterday. I will be using my inheritance for a big wedding soon. He wants to stay child-free, so taking Evan wasn't an option. What the hell are you even talking about? You are the only one Evan has. You can't abandon him for a stupid man. I'm not getting any younger, Giselle. No man will take me with a child. Evan is 14 and will sail through life from now on. He's not a toddler, so he doesn't need me. Now, I will be changing my phone number, so don't bother calling again. Those were the last words that she said to me. She hung up and straight up blocked me, and when I turned around to face Evan, he looked lost. His eyes were empty, even the tears had stopped. He said, "It's okay, Gazelle. You don't have to make false promises. I know she won't come back. She chose her lover over me." "This is wrong, Evan. I'm sure your mother will come to her senses soon." "No, she won't, Gazelle. She has her inheritance now. She doesn't need anything from us anymore. I guess I'm on my own now." "Absolutely not, Evan. You are not on your own. You still have me. I'm going to be there for you. Don't ever say that you are alone." I never had any intention of having kids. Kids were simply not on my lists. However, I couldn't just leave Evan to the mercy of foster homes, so I kept my promise to my dad and decided to take care of him. After a lot of stupid paperwork, Evan started to live with me. He was a broken kid who needed years of therapy to accept the new changes in his life. I had a good job, and my father's inheritance helped me take care of Evan. My dad had split his money 50-50 between me and Lara to make things even. However, Lara had no intention of ever spending that money on Evan. Years passed and Lara never came back. We looked for her and tracked her down about 2 years later. My lawyer tracked her down to talk about child support, but, to my surprise, instead of trying to mend bridges, Lara simply chose to give up her rights to Evan. When Evan received the news, he was devastated. He said, "I really am a burden, aren't I? My own mother doesn't want me. Now I have become your burden." "No, Evan, you are not a burden to me. Lara doesn't know what a big mistake she's made. I'm sure she will regret that later in life." "I don't even know if I care anymore, Gazelle. I just don't want to be a burden on you. You have already done enough for me. I promise I will get out of your hair as soon as I turn 18. I'm looking for a job since I will graduate soon. I will crash on a friend's couch till I can pay rent. He won't mind." "Oh, no, no, no. I will have none of that nonsense. You are my responsibility now, Evan. You are my only family, and families stick together. You will stay with me till you are ready to move away. You will go to college and get that medical degree. I will help you every step of the way." Evan cried into my arms that day. It filled me with both rage and sadness. I was raging mad at Lara for hurting the poor kid, and I was sad for Evan because his self-esteem was non-existent. That day, I vowed to make sure Evan has everything he needs to be successful. I had already kept aside a part of my inheritance to make a college fund for Evan. I gave him that when he qualified for medical school. A few more years passed and Evan got that medical degree. He was a top student at his uni and immediately got into a good hospital as an intern. He was earning good money and finally living a happy life. His mental health struggles were almost gone, and I was happy to see him prosper. He still lived with me because he was saving up for a house. We had a pretty good life and rarely even mentioned Lara. We had no idea what she was up to. Well, we didn't have to wonder for long. It was on a rare holiday that Evan was home. We were having some quality time having breakfast together when my doorbell rang. I went to check who it was and wasn't prepared to come face to face with Lara. At first glance, I couldn't even recognize her. She was way thinner and the years were not kind to her. She looked way older than her age and her clothes had holes in them. She smiled nervously and asked to come in. Look, guys, I'm not a monster, and seeing her in that state made me pity her, so I let her in. Evan came to see what was going on. The moment he saw Lara, he froze. Lara looked elated to see him, while Evan looked blank. She ran to him and hugged him. She said, "Oh my God, Evan, I can't believe how much you've grown. My little boy is all grown up now." "Yeah, time does that to people. Why are you here?" "I've come to see you, Evan. Are you not happy to see me?" "Why on earth would I be happy to see you?" Lara's cheerful demeanor took a dive soon. Her face changed as Evan's tone made it clear that he wasn't happy to see her. Lara looked at me to confirm that both of us were very unimpressed with her unwanted appearance. She gulped and said, "Shouldn't you be happy to see your mom, Evan? It's been 8 years since I've seen you." "Which is exactly why I'm super curious to know what made you come here. What happened? Did your dear husband finally let you have your kid in your life? No, it's not like that, Evan. My husband kicked me out of our house. He was cheating on me with someone younger. He's made me homeless now. That was news to me. I couldn't believe that Lara was homeless. Even though her husband was a questionable man, she had money of her own. Her inheritance wouldn't have allowed her to be homeless and in this condition. I was really surprised and said, "You are homeless now? What happened to your inheritance, Lara?" "You cashed it in, I know that." "The inheritance is all gone. My husband gambled it away and spent money on his mistress. I have nothing to my name except my car." Seriously, Lara? Seriously, Lara? Are you telling me that you and your husband blew through all your money? Why don't you get a lawyer and sue him for alimony and stuff? I don't have any money, Gazelle. I'm absolutely broke. I was madly in love with my husband, and this is where it got me. I really need your help now. I desperately need my son and my sister. The truth came out of Lara's mouth. She hadn't just shown up to reconnect with her. Oh, no, no, no. Lara will never do that. She was actually here expecting us to house her, feed her, and clothe her now that she's broke. God help people who are as entitled as my stepsister. Her face said it all. She had come to my house fully expecting me and Evan to help her. However, she was in for a surprise. Evan, instead of empathizing with her, looked at her blankly. He said in the most deadpan tone, "So that's why you're here now. I don't see how any of this is our problem. We don't care about what bad decisions you made to be in this situation." "What are you saying, Evan? You're saying that you don't care about me?" "Give me one good reason why I should care about you." I'm your mother, Evan. Of course you should care about me. You are my son. It's your duty to look after your mom." "Well, that's where you're wrong, Lara. I don't consider you my mother." Lara looked like she had been slapped. I guess she hadn't expected her son to outright say that he doesn't consider her his mother. Lara had, after all, come here so that she could get some financial assistance from Evan and me. I can see why she thought that. I mean, I have a great job and Evan is all set to be a high-paying doctor. We had the money to help her best, but it turns out none of us were willing to help her. Lara had a hard time believing that we would turn our backs on her. She started to tear up and said, "Evan, how can you say that? I'm your mother. Nothing is going to change the fact." "Oh, really? That's what you think? Did you forget the fact that you signed away my rights to Gazelle?" "You have to understand, Evan, I was in love and couldn't do anything. My fiancé wasn't going to accept you, so I had to give you up. I knew Gazelle would take good care of you." "Oh, shut up, Lara. Gazelle didn't have to take care of me. She doesn't even have any kind of blood relation with me. I mean, she wasn't even old enough to have a kid my age. You left your teen son with someone who didn't even know how to raise kids." "You were misunderstanding me, Evan. I always trusted Gazelle's ability to care for people. That's why I left you with her." Now, many people would consider this as a compliment. However, I didn't find this flattering at all. First of all, she never consulted me about leaving Evan with me. She didn't know that I would be a good guardian for Evan. She didn't even stop to care about him that much. That was exactly why she gave up her rights so easily when my lawyer reached out to her. If she loved or cared about her son at least a little, she would have reached out back then. I wasn't going to let her paint herself as a saint now, so I said, "That was not a compliment at all, Lara. Also, you didn't even talk to me. You straight up abandoned him and left. You didn't even bother to share your plan with me." "That's because I knew you wouldn't agree with me. I wasn't going to leave everything to chance." "There it is, Lara. So you do accept that you knew there was a possibility Gazelle wouldn't agree to your plan. Looks like you just proved my words right again. You didn't leave me in her care knowingly. You simply did what suited you the best." I didn't even have to do much. Evan is a clever man and knows exactly how to get the truth out of people. Evan was a smart boy, and he was able to catch Lara's stupidity very easily. Lara once again found herself unable to explain her actions to him. I wasn't backing up her claims either, so she changed tactics. She started to cry now and said, I know I may have messed up a little, but see, your life turned out well, Evan. You have become so successful. Yes, I become successful, but no thanks to you. Giselle sacrificed a major part of her inheritance to send me to medical college. Pretty sure she even took out some money from her own savings to secure my future. You, on the other hand, did nothing of the sort. Evan, dear, your mom had messed up big time. She only wants a single chance to make things right. Can't you give me one chance, my boy? First of all, I already made it clear that you are not my mom, and I am not your boy. Secondly, I have no interest in giving you any chances. You should have tried when Giselle had asked you to terminate your rights to me. You lost your chance then. Please don't be so hard on me, Evan. I'm your mother, even though you don't see me as a mother right now. Oh, please, Lara. You are not my mom in any way. Just giving birth to me doesn't make you my mother. In fact, Giselle is more of a mom to me than you have ever been. My heart swelled with pride when Evan said that. It truly made all my sacrifices worth it. I really considered Evan as my son, although I never said it out loud. I didn't want him to think that I was trying to replace his mother. Turns out he and I were on the same page all this time. It brought tears of joy to my eyes. I said, "Do you mean it, Evan? Do you see me as somewhat of a mother?" "Not just somewhat, Giselle. I consider you my mother. You are the only one who deserves to be called my mom." "No, no, no. She cannot be your mom. I am still legally your mom." "In that case, how about this? Giselle, will you adopt me as your son? You know, adult adoptions are a thing, right?" "I'm up for it. I've been thinking about it for a while now. If you are okay with this, I would love to be officially your son." Those words did things to my poor heart. I felt so overwhelmed with love that I had trouble forming the words. Evan was looking at me expectantly while Lara was borderline in panic. I, on the other hand, was overcome with emotions. I lightly cried and said, "Oh, Evan, I would love to adopt you. Nothing would make me happier." "No, no, you can't adopt, Evan. I won't allow this. I will never allow this." "Who says that you get an opinion on this matter? This is between me and Giselle. We didn't ask for your input." "You have to listen to me, Evan. Giselle is not your mother. I am your mother. You have gone blind. She's just playing with your emotions for your money. This was all planned out by her." Evan laughed, and at that, so did I. The absolute audacity of Lara was astounding, although I was a little less surprised than Evan. I mean, I have known Lara for years and have seen how ridiculous and entitled she could be. She was truly a delusional woman who didn't care about anyone other than herself. But this time things will not go according to her wishes. Evan said, "You are really a jokester, you know, Lara. Giselle doesn't need to play me for money. She had plenty of money that she could have kept for herself. Did she do that? Nope. She used it on me so that I could have a good future. However, I can't say the same for you." But you have to see the truth, Evan. I gave birth to you and I need your help more. You are the only one I have." "No can do, Lara. I have absolutely no obligations towards the woman who abandoned me, so I would advise you not to spend your time with me. Why don't you just go find a job if you need money that bad?" "I haven't worked in almost a decade, Evan. I don't even know what place would employ me. You can't let your mom work at a minimum wage job. That won't be good for your reputation." "For the last time, you are not my mom. Stop deluding yourself. Now, since you don't have anything else to say, it's time you leave." "Wait, what? Are you going to kick me out?" Lara looked like a lost puppy with tears swimming in her eyes. Maybe that puppy eyes would work on many people, but it definitely didn't sway me or Evan. Instead, I said in a calm voice, "This house is mine, so Evan cannot kick you out, but I can, and I will." "Absolutely not, Giselle. I am not leaving without mending my relationship with my son." "The man you call your son doesn't even see you as his mother. Now, you need to leave before I call the cops on you. And yes, if you don't stop harassing my son, I will call the cops and report you for harassment. Lara started to argue and threw a tantrum. However, we were having none of it. So when she simply wouldn't leave my house, I picked up the phone and showed her that I was going to call the cops. She cried and begged some more and then was forced to leave. Very stupidly, Lara tried to show up at my house again. She did that multiple times till I actually called the cops, who issued her a warning. After that, she didn't come back. I don't really know where she is or what she's up to. She somehow got hold of Evan's phone number, probably through the hospital. She tried to harass him into helping her. He simply kept blocking all the numbers she called from till the calls stopped altogether. Now for the happy part. Evan was serious when he said that he wanted me to adopt him, so I did what any doting parent would do. I gave in to his wishes. He didn't even have to pester me because that was exactly what I wanted as well. I'm happy to announce that Evan is officially my son now. I know that a lot of people would think that this was unnecessary. However, I beg to differ. It was important for Evan to erase his ties to Lara and officially make me his mom. He even started to call me Mom, which still brings tears to my eyes sometimes. With every passing day, I grow more and more proud of my son, who has developed into such an amazing man. I thank God for sending him to my life, and also for giving Lara her karma.